Stuart, Florida. When railroads are brought up in this area, most thoughts turn here to the St. Lucie River Bridge. But that is about to change. In the shadows of the city's water tower, what is currently a parking lot will soon become the center of attention. On Monday, March 4th, 2024, Brightline announced that it had selected a proposal from the city of Stuart and Martin County to locate its next station in this spot. Stuart is located on the Treasure Coast of Florida and will be a roughly 30-minute train ride north of West Palm Beach on the East Coast, along Brightline's existing route between Miami and Orlando. In October 2023, Brightline solicited proposals for locations for a new station on the Treasure Coast. By the deadline for submissions in December, 5 different proposals were put forward with locations in Stuart and Fort Pierce, along with 2 other undisclosed locations. The joint proposal here between the city of Stuart and Martin County came out on top. In addition to the obvious requirement that any locations be located adjacent to the Florida East Coast Railway corridor, there was additional criteria that any proposed locations needed to meet in order to be considered. This included that the property had to be larger than 2 acres, be where there was at least 1,000 feet of cleared track with sufficient room for a 500-foot platform and at least a 100-foot buffer from crossings on either end. The site also had to be able to have at least 200 parking spaces in either surface lots or parking garage and be able to accommodate ground transportation. The site that Stuart and Martin County proposed is 2.35 acres over 3 parcels that are owned by Martin County, and that will be deeded to the city for the station. The location is situated between the Colorado Avenue and Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard crossings. This distance is roughly 1,600 feet. This is more than enough space to meet Brightline's requirements, and will be able to hold a station track long enough for 10-car trains, which is the size train all of Brightline stations are built to accommodate. In terms of the site layout, the proposal took inspiration from Brightline's Boca Raton station, seen here. This conceptual site diagram that was included in the city's proposal shows building a parking garage with up to 450 spaces and the potential for businesses on the ground level. There would be a station square, which would be surrounded by ground transportation, pickup and drop-off. There would also be room for a 9,000 square foot station building. This is all conceptual and will more than likely differ from the final station that will be built. This ground level view is looking at Flagler Avenue from roughly where the station square will be. The ground transportation pickup and drop-off would be behind the camera. Looking the other direction, and this is roughly where the ground transportation pickup and drop-off would be located. The station building will be here on the northwestern edge of the property. The parking garage will be here on the southern end. The site's current use as a parking lot will make it easy to clear and prepare for the station. The platform would be roughly where I'm standing here, with the new station track built here on the east side of the existing mainline tracks. Now that the site has been selected, the project moves to finalizing contracts with the City of Stuart, then beginning design, environmental, and permitting, followed by construction. The goal currently is to be open by the end of 2026. The station won't be the only Brightline project ongoing in Stuart during this time. Brightline is now in the initial stages to replace the current St. Lucie River Bridge. In December 2023, a federal grant was awarded to Stuart for $130.5 million, which, along with funding from the Florida Department of Transportation, the Florida East Coast Railway, and Brightline, will cover the estimated $218 million for a new double-track bridge. The new bridge will have a clearance of 16 feet, which when closed will allow 80% of boats to pass underneath. The current bridge here has 6.5 feet of clearance, allowing 22% of marine traffic underneath. This new bridge is currently in the design stage of the project, and the full process will take about 4 years to complete, lining up roughly with the completion of the new Stuart station. Here are a couple of trains crossing the bridge, starting with the southbound Islands of the Bahamas Rapt train. This curve on the north end will be broadened across the new bridge, which will allow for a slight increase in speed across the new bridge. Being double track, it will eliminate the only single track portion of the Florida East Coast Railway corridor that Brightline utilizes. And finally a northbound with the Palm Beaches wrap. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like button and subscribe. Also check out my social media pages.